Hello class, my name is Jared and for my cultural presentation, I decided to attend Denios, which is a local farmer's market, and go shopping for fresh ingredients to make huevos rancheros. A little background about huevos rancheros is that back in the early farming days, Mexican families at the peak of dawn would sit down at the table and eat huevos rancheros, which is a simple breakfast consisting of tortillas, eggs, beans, green onions, and tomatoes. The perfect dish, full of protein and fiber. We will learn a little bit more about that dish I created later in this presentation. A little history about Denials is that it was founded in 1947 by Jim and Marlee Denio. Every weekend, the Denio family would sit and sell their produce near their rail yard. What started as a single family selling their own produce on the Saturdays soon turned into a full functional auction where people sold their produce and property as well. By the 1960s, Denials became one of the largest and most efficient farmers markets there was. However, they were still only operational on Saturdays. By 1969, Denials finally decided to be open Saturdays as well, due to the high volume of people shopping as well as people wanting to sell. Eventually, vendors wanted to sell more than just their produce. Denials accommodated this request and set a separate lot for people to park their cars and sell property right out of their vehicle. Denial's big mission is to be family-oriented, and it has been since the day it opened. To this date, Denial's is still family-oriented and owned by the original Denial family. So how does Denial's fit into being a part of the Mexican culture when it seems it is just a farmer's market where families sell what they don't want? I was curious myself. I decided to go to the farmer's market on the weekend to see the culture and dynamic of Denial's. As I walked around, I saw a lot of Mexican families selling their own produce from their farms, but I also saw many different products that were a part of Mexican culture. On the left of this slide, you see a lot of different candies. When I talked to the vendor, she informed me all this candy route straight from Mexico and is what all the niños and niñas would eat after school. On the right, you see a lot of clothes for sale. This vendor told me that these clothes, which were primarily for little girls, were handmade from her family in Mexico. A lot of the clothes was for little girls' traditional celebrations, little birthdays, and other family gatherings. I also saw a lot of dresses that were on sale for little girls. These dresses were primarily for their 15th birthday, also known as a quinceañera. For a girl's 15th birthday, families would get together to celebrate their little girl entering womanhood for the first time. The families would party all night, and essentially, this is just like a Sweet 16, something American girls do celebrating teenhood. I decided to make the huevos rancheros and started shopping for different foods and spices to help create a flavorful dish. I walked around and decided to buy some juicy tomatoes and green onions. I went to a spice stand and bought some chili sauce, as well as lemon juice and pepper. I continued shopping around, experiencing the amazing culture within Denials, and I even bought some sombreros and blankets. The family dynamic, family business, is amazing to see here at the Denials Farmers Market. Not only is the corporation Denials family oriented itself, but also the vendors as well. I went home and began preparing the dish. I threw a couple of tortillas on the stove, making them super crispy, and while that was cooking, I placed the eggs on a separate frying pan, and I cooked them over medium, because that is how my family liked their eggs. I cut up all the fresh vegetables and opened a can of kidney beans. Once the eggs were done cooking, I created the whole dish and served it to my family. It was as if we were on the Mexican farm getting ready to go out on the farm all day, just like the Mexican families back did in the day. So what is a family tradition that your family does on occasion? What types of products have you gone to Denials for? Would you believe Denials was originally for one single farm selling only their products? I feel that Denials is very undervalued by the public's eye. I feel Denials has a lot of good assets to it and a lot to experience despite just showing for your needs. If we look deeper in the picture, we can experience Mexican culture firsthand. From food, clothes, household items, and more, there's always something to experience at Denials Farmers Market. Thank you for viewing my presentation. I enjoyed this culture event and hope you did as well.